I thank the chairman. While I like the last amendment, I've got another good one. This amendment strikes all funding, $3.75 million for the Council on Environmental Quality. The Council on Environmental Quality was created by the National Environmental Policy Act of 1969 to advance environmental policies and to meet requirements under NEPA. The Biden administration has weaponized the CEQ with developing policies on climate change, environmental justice, and federal sustainability, all while creating more paperwork under NEPA that the previous administration tried to reverse. Folks, these policies are what is holding America back. Onerous NEPA requirements and state-level laws like those in California are holding back countless programs and construction projects around the country. They're also part of the Democrat apparatus that aims to shift America's way of life by meeting unscientific emission goals. The federal government's supposed to do a lot of things. It doesn't do many of them well, but it doesn't need to tell us how to cook our food. Yet, as written by the Department of Energy's own estimates for their gas stove rule, that only 4% of gas stove tops available in the market today meet the new standard, essentially forcing Americans to choose electric stove tops. I'll reserve.
For what purpose does the gentlelady from Maine seek recognition?
Mr. Chair, I claim time in opposition to this amendment.
The gentlelady is recognized.
Right. Okay, so this amendment is back again. I think it's still deja vu all over again because this is now the third time we have taken up this amendment, now, once again, eliminating the Council on Environmental Quality. We have a pending roll call on that very exact question. So no, it just seems to me we have plenty to do around here. We have plenty to do and having a very busy day. We'll have a very busy day tomorrow, and we have very ambitious goals on the part of the majority to pass through a lot of appropriations bills. So why in the world would we have three of the same amendments? And I appreciate that different people wanted to give different perspective on it, but couldn't you have all spoken on the same amendment? And I'd also just say that a lot of my colleagues on this side of the aisle had amendments that were eliminated, that weren't given a chance to speak on the floor. So if you had just gone from 3 to 1 of these amendments, you could have used the time for 2 more of my colleagues' amendments, and we could have had a little more democratic debate, perhaps on reinstating the funding for the National Museum of the Hispanic. I mean, there were a lot of good things we would like to see discussed under this bill. So why in the world the majority had to have us discuss this third time? I do want you to know I have my talking points. I can say exactly the same things about why it is very arbitrary to eliminate the Council on Environmental Quality, why the office is important in establishing the federal government's efforts to improve, preserve, and protect Americans' public health and environment. Also to ensure that environmental reviews for infrastructure projects and federal actions are thorough, efficient, and reflect the input of the public and local communities. And I know you appreciate hearing that from me 3 times. But it just seems to me that if we were managing this floor in a way that really made best use of all of our colleagues' time, we would either give a few more amendments to the Democratic minority, or we would just do this once, have 1 roll call, and give you all a chance to speak on that particular bill and voice your opinion. It is still a bad amendment. We will still oppose this amendment, and we shouldn't be doing this at this particular time. So once again, I'm going to oppose the amendment, and I'll yield back.
The gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
I thank the gentlelady for her thoughts on it. Why 3? Well, we want to give you 3 opportunities to do the right thing. Oftentimes, members vote, and then they think, oh, boy, they hear from their constituents, I wish I wouldn't have voted that way. We want to make sure that, A, you know that this agency does not need to exist. And by the way, of all the things, again, that the federal government needs to do, it does not need to be doing this. The states are doing an adequate job. As a matter of fact, they're doing an awesome job. In some places, too awesome of a job. You take California, losing population for the first time in history because of too awesome of a job of being tyrannical towards their citizens with policies just like this. So we want you to have the opportunity. We want you to know that this is a pressing issue. We want you to know that we're not giving up on it, and we're going to keep coming back until we end this boondoggle. And finally, we want to remind everybody, in case no one else knows it, we're $33 trillion in debt. In the next 18 months, we'll probably be $36 trillion in debt. If you can't afford electricity, if you can't afford your groceries, if you can't afford gasoline, your credit card payments are maxed out, you can't afford to buy a new car, the reason is because this Congress this institution, this town, refuses to stop the spending. It's causing all your high prices. This is a place to stop the spending. I urge adoption, and I yield the balance.
The question is on the amendment offered